What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Bobby Fi and Eric Sheets-Haber. We're going to be talking through the MLB slate. But we got to start off with Sheets is just completely on fire right now. Had the MLB win last night, the MMA win on Saturday. The only thing that's not going crazy for you right now is your Knicks. But talk a little bit about your weekend and what's been going on.
Well, I guess first things first. I mean, as I like to say, if you told me beginning of the series that I would sign on for a 2-1 lead with the Knicks, I would certainly take it. Continuing now, it turns out that the game I went to, they found the other side of the Celtic variance. when the Celtics make 60% of their threes, the Knicks make 13% and shoot 8 air balls from the foul line. Mr. Robinson, and my wife was there, and she goes, it's not fair that Boston makes all the shots and the Knicks don't make any. Well, there you have it. I mean, it's just, it's an easy game, right? When one team makes them all, the other team misses them all. It's not so difficult to predict who's going to win. But the weird thing about this NBA playoffs, like you mentioned, is that like your friends, your gambler friends, or your cousins, I forget who it was, who've been on this like -9.5 thing.
Yeah.
Like they should make it like -19.5. I mean, it's ridiculous. Right. Every game is 25 at some point. And the funny thing is like during this Knicks game, like the game, statistically was over like pretty quickly. But like even when they were down like 28, like the crowd was going crazy, like just assuming they would come back. You know what I mean? Like that's what the NBA has become now in these playoffs, is that no lead is safe. And the Celtics had literally their starters in like right to the end, pretty much.
Right.
Like, to the 2.5-minute mark with a 25-point lead or whatever it is. They had it right, and that's what happens. Like and last night, freaking the Pacers just like stomped the freaking Cavaliers like out of just nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Following getting stomped the game before, So just to kind of recap, it's been a good news cycle for Sheets the last like week or so. We had good personal news. We had a 30K win in baseball last week, followed it with a freaking MMA takedown, only chopping with 5 people, which is pretty amazing. For like 56,000 there.
So that must have been like 200 for first then, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
53,000, and we did a video. I did a video where I went through how I did everything. I used McCool's. I used a portfolio manager tool to minimize dupes, and that worked out great. And then just for funsies, the 2-gamer in the NBA last night. I didn't think I was in competition because of how badly everybody busted in the first game, but it was plenty, and I ended up getting second in the lottery last night for 20,000.
That's crazy.
So all good news, and I needed actually exactly the way it happened to happen. That I knew nobody was gonna play the fourth quarter, except I had Siakam and Turner, but I also had McConnell. And I knew McConnell was gonna get his 6 minutes, whatever it was would get. And then everybody else get taken out of the game, so there was nobody left to catch me, like in second, pretty much. So that worked out nicely, and ready to get after it. Now, I will also tell you, there's no rest for the wicked. We've got a tennis sweat today.
Oh my God!
Tennis has been paying 5K for first every single day, and they just fired it up to be whatchamacallit 10K for first. And I'll just share my screen. There's like one game, there's one match left to sweat here, and we are in first and second.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so this is what we have to sweat though. What we need to sweat is exactly this. So this Blue Jays has got Jay Munar, and if he wins in straight sets, he catches me. But anything else, like if we could just get Korda to win the second set, then we're home free. Like no one. I don't believe. Let me just make sure. Tennis is always no. There are actually some others. Crap. So there are others to sweat, but it looks as though that would be a good step in the right direction. Let's put it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
All right, so that's that. I'll go. If you want, I can share my screen for today.
Oh, sure. If you up to you.
And we're ready to get after baseball. Let me just pull up my whatchamacallit. Oh, I wanted to use DraftKings.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, you like to use the Sabres.
I don't mind. We can like mixing. I'm a big fan of mixing it up.
Oh, that's fine. Hold on. Well, while I do this, is there any
There's
is
no
there
weather.
any weather news that
Well, I shouldn't say there's no weather. It's Atlanta. It's the summer, so there's always pop-up storms. So it's the same. You're like Atlanta, like always has like Roth gives it always a yellow. And that's what it's got today. But that's the only game. But even that is, yellow, flat yellow. We know at this point is not something we're going to be overly worried about.
Well, also before we get into it, here's something I do like every day. I put in the tournaments that I'm going to play, and on DraftKings, then I upload those lineups to SaberSim just so the contest fields are already preloaded, and we can kind of have the same conversation. So we're gonna go and do this right now. So I'm playing, by the way, the Immaculate Inning. Can't believe that people play 120 entrants in that thing. You can play.
That's crazy.
Woo! I feel like I'm spending by playing 5 because I figured if I played the other thing, it would be 555 anyway.
Right.
So I figured I would go for that one, and I'm going to max enter the knuckleball, and I'll play the ball 4. So that's all been kind of put in there, and now we're kind of ready to talk about the slate, and we're also going to talk about Survivor after that. So
absolutely,
I guess first game we have Paul Skeens is coming to New York to go against the Mets, who are not exactly the greatest matchup in the world.
No.
What do you think of Skeens? What do you think of Peterson? You like any of the hitting in this game or anything?
Yeah, all I'll say is like every time that Skeens is not going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate, it's like even the Dodgers in a bad matchup, I'm going to take, or even in some cases the Yankees, depending on the park or whatever. But I'm always going to have like a little bit of interest. But oddly enough, in this game, even though I've tried to stack against him a couple times this year, I think that the more interesting play to me is David Peterson. I actually think that he's I don't think it's like anything groundbreaking or anything, but I think that 8,200 is probably too cheap. The Pirates, not exactly a powerhouse offense. They will throw, probably 9 righties out there because Reynolds is a switch hitter, but it hasn't really bothered Peterson. He's used to those things, and he got up to a good start this year. He's been a little struggling of late until you realize he's facing literally like nightmare matchups. Arizona against lefties is a nightmare matchup. He's faced them 2 times in a row, and then he had Philadelphia before that. It's another tough matchup. So, and then at the 8, these are not great matchups he's been in. This is a good matchup. So I like Peterson and I like Skeens a little bit.
Yeah, I currently have Skeens oddly tied for second as far as my values go. He's kind of in a range of 2 other guys, and neither of them are remotely the pitcher that he is.
Right.
So I again, as matchup, you know what I mean? Like guys like this on a pitching slate, which is kind of fishy, actually, I think.
Yeah.
I think that I would make him my SP2. So yeah, or SP2, part of the SP1, whatever. So I do like Skeens, and I do not have either of the bats rated highly.
No.
And Peterson I have as as reasonable. Depending how many lineups I play, that's what I end up getting.
Yeah, and we're not going to get to it. Well, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it later during live. But just for what it's worth, the FanDuel slate is at 640 today. And we're not covering those games, but I did want to throw out that before we get into all the games, Christopher Sanchez and the Phillies offense both look like very good plays to me. So I'll jump over now to Atlanta and
what in FanDuel?
On FanDuel,
and that's the only one that we don't have at 6:30.
It's St. Louis and Philly, and then Boston and Detroit.
Well, let me just take a look and see what I have there. As far as hitting goes. Which games are you talking about? Philly? Yeah, I don't have Philly rated that high.
Yeah. I just personally like them tonight.
Okay.
First of all, I'm a bigger Philly. I believe this is one of the best teams in baseball, and their offense is terrifying. And they also score in the very pleasant, they'll double steal. They send guys. They have tons of power. And the fact that, their best hitters are lefties, when they're facing a lefty, they don't tend to get a lot of love. But I do like them today. And these guys both have powers off lefties. Although Liberatore has been much better this year than I think anyone really expected. All right. Excuse me. All right, Chiefs. Do you want to start out the next one? I'm just going to blow my nose. I don't want to do it on screen, so I'm going to mute myself for 1 second and blow my nose.
1 second.
What did you get going? All right.
Okay, so Washington against Atlanta. I actually have Atlanta rated pretty decently. I mean, I currently have them maybe 4th or 5th on DraftKings right now. I didn't really look at FanDuel too much, but I definitely have them rated as one or two of the top stacks. And as far as the pitching goes, who do we got here? Holmes. I mean, not the worst, I guess, but he's pretty far down on the list for me. So for me, it's the Braves. Definitely, one of the top options. Not the top option. I have them again about fourth, and that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, on a smaller slate like a DraftKings here, I do think Atlanta's completely like that. That's sort of, to me, I don't want to say chalky, but it's like that. It's like I think you have to have some interest in them, and I actually they're going to get some ownership. Okay, look, if it's a small enough slate on DraftKings at 8 games where I think you could consider playing Washington. That's it. I don't have them as a priority. They're cheap and they have some upside. Like, this is a better lineup than they've had. They make contact. So mildly interested there, but mostly it's Atlanta. Nothing, neither are my top level ones, but they're both interesting to me. All right. What are we going to do here, Sheets? I think we're going to get into the major. Oh my God. I look at the ownership and it excites me. This is the easiest spot in the world. And I think that it's going to be lower owned than it should be.
Miami, Chicago, you mean?
Yeah, it's look, I know it's even with a little, like, there's 8-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, which I don't usually like Chicago in that situation, but they still have a 5.3 run total. Vegas isn't changing anything, and it's Cal Quantrill, who I would rate as one of the worst 5 pitchers in probably starting in baseball, and with a terrible bullpen behind him. Kind of a fun spot here.
Yeah, the wind does bother me a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't have them as my top one, top stack. I have them kind of, 2, 3, something like that. But I definitely have them in play. But again, how many times have I messed with the Chicago wind and come back to get me though? I don't know.
But they've been the best team in baseball offensively, and we've seen these wins a lot. And now, so sometimes it's because, unfortunately, what it does though is you get a lot of singles and doubles, and not the home runs.
That's true. But they can hit home runs because.
Yeah, they do anyway sometimes.
So yeah, I have them rated, like I said, about 2 or 3, which certainly makes sense. We'll see exactly where the ownership comes in on this. And yeah, like you said, Quantrill is not the best. Let's just put it that way. Pitching wise, I have Colin Ray, as a reasonable SP2, very very cheap against a team that is not very good. So I have him rated. What is this? Probably part of my SP2 pool. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be overweight the Cubs, and I also have Colin Ray in the mix. I'm going to have to make some decisions of where I really want these guys. But he's one of the cheapos that I'm interested in. Do you need the value? I'm not sure you do, but he certainly makes a lot of sense. All right, the Rockies, who are a whopping. Do you know what their record is, Sheets? Before I announce them,
is it like 5-30 or something?
6-33.
Wow,
that's tough to do. It's baseball.
It is very tough to do.
You don't see that very often. And by the way, did the games with San Diego over the weekend? Did you see the scores of these things?
They were pretty big.
Yeah, it was San Diego won 13-9, 22-1, and then 19 to whatever. It was the most runs any team had given up in a 3-game span since 1950.
Wow.
Crazy. All right, Colorado, Texas, Sheets. What do you like here?
I have Texas as the top overall stack by a lot. And it's, I don't want to say it's rare, but it's rare to have whenever you have a team against Colorado, it's usually because they're in Colorado. But here, I guess just because Colorado's bad, I guess. I don't know. I don't, for whatever reason though, I don't remember thinking that Chase Dollander was bad. You know what I mean? Like, I
had a good start for us a couple times, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Nonetheless, is Seager back? You know what I mean? Like, because remember they had lineup issues. But nonetheless, I do have them rated my top, and I have Tyler Mahle rated. I mean, right now, I mean, just to be perfectly honest with you, I have him rated the same as Skeens. Just because I guess projection is really strong, just because the matchup is so strong. I mean, to get Colorado on the road as opposed to the Mets is kind of tough. That's a big deal. Nonetheless, I mean, Mahle's certainly not half the pitcher or half the upside that Skeens has. But I mean, those matchups matter. So I do have Molly rated very, very highly, and Texas as well.
I'm a big Tyler Mahle guy, actually. He was one of the things I liked about Texas coming into the season. They haven't lived up to my expectations because their lineup has been putrid. Yeah, Texas is going to be, I guess, that's sort of going to end up being the chalk probably. It's weird. Jock Peterson, who has been like the chalk player, the cash game guy every day, I think he has 0 fantasy points in like 19 of the last 20. He's hitting like 70, like 070. Like it's crazy. But at some point, something has to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Texas on paper makes a lot of sense. If it was a smaller slate, like a 4 or 5 gamer, I would be talking about playing Dollander, but I don't think I need to do that. I don't think it's the worst idea either. He's got some upside. I just don't think you necessarily need it. It's a fishy slate, like you said, pitching wise. It's hard to know who's the better ones, but there's plenty of reasonable options that are not expensive. I think I'd just rather play Colin Ray, I guess is the answer.
Yeah.
All right, KC and Houston. Do we follow the line and keep stacking against Michael Wacha to no avail? Like he always is just okay enough to not get hammered.
I don't think we do. I mean, I'm not seeing Houston that great at all today. I'm on the other side though. I have KC rated in the top group for me today. So yeah, so KC in Houston, I like that. And I'm not getting to either of the pitchers.
KC's getting a pretty decent amount of ownership for a team with a 3.8 run.
Yeah, because they're always cheap.
Yeah, you're right. After the India, even India, after Bobby Witt, and that's it actually, because Salvador Perez used to be expensive, but then he stopped hitting.
Yeah.
Boy, man, it's this Royals team. It's not been pretty with their offense.
No, it sure hasn't.
So they're on my list, but I'm not like excited about it. I am going to look. This is Chasey, and this is not what you should do. I'll throw a Houston lineup or something in because I think I've stacked against Wacha like 5 times this year, and it never has come even close to working out in any way that's positive. Yet I still don't think he looks great. So something's got to give at some point, and at least I think it does. All right, now we get a very strange one of the biggest one of the biggest hitting downgrades in baseball. The Yankees traveling to Seattle. What do you got here with your Yankees in Seattle sheets?
Yeah, so Clark Schmidt kind of stinks. I mean, he's not. I mean, I know this because I see him pitch like every day. Like, I don't know if I talked to you about this. I told you, I think to 6 Yankee games in the last 2 seasons, I've seen Clark Schmidt start 4. He's fine. I mean, whatever. But I'm not. I don't think I'm going to get to him today. I'm not going to get to Hancock, but I am going to get to the Yankees. I know it's a park downgrade and all that stuff, but nonetheless, they're still projecting pretty nicely for me. So I do have the Yankees as one of my top 5 stacks on DraftKings.
You know what? I think we have to play some Yankees here. Whatever, park be damned or whatever. And by the way, we got to just say for a second, I mean, this Judge season is like, I don't even know. I actually feel like bad for him a little bit because what happens now is like in the postseason again, it's like the pressure is so much that if he doesn't perform, he's going to be like looked at in a different way.
And it's ridiculous considering how baseball results distribute and short series and all that. It's just so unfair.
Well, remember Barry Bonds through his first like 9 playoffs was like a 180 hitter, and then he hit like 500 for the next like 5. You know what I mean? And ended up evening out. But that's just the way you're right. You're right. It's ridiculous. He's the best hitter in baseball. And I mean, as great as Ohtani is, I can't say he's a better hitter than Judge with what Judge does. Like it's impossible. At least not at this moment. Maybe we'll talk later this season. All right. So for this game, I mean, look, Schmidt is another one I have on my list as a guy to consider because he is cheap and Seattle we know there's like it's not like they're an offense to fear. Sometimes we like to stack them sometimes because they're cheap, but partly they're cheap because they don't hit a ton. They're a good baseball team. They've got productive players, but they still strike out enough. So I have Schmidt and I have the Yankees here, but I also don't mind if you wanted to take some shots at Seattle in the lottery. I don't think that's a bad idea. So that's a lot of different. This is I guess a 3-pronger for me.
I will say this, that in the since it's the knuckleball and playing 150, I'm definitely going to get like a non-zero, amount of Schmidt. Like I have Schmidt rated alongside of Peterson, you know what I mean, and Ray, and like all these guys like have shots, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to get to, I presume, the chalk, like the best pitcher on the slate, and that would be Michael King. I have him rated pretty. I mean, kind of hard to say on a slate where you have both Skeens pitching and Male against Colorado on the road, but nonetheless, I mean, Michael King projecting to me to be the best play, so I like him, and that's pretty much all I'm getting for this game.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that the early projections have Kikuchi getting some ownership.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And partly, I know San Diego hasn't been. I mean, first of all, I say their offense hasn't been the same. They're right behind the Dodgers with the best record in baseball, so they've been just good enough. This used to just be like a rule, like you can't play a lefty against San Diego. I don't want to play Kikuchi. I'm sort of interested in San Diego, to be honest with you, as like a contrarian stack. And also, what I like about them is I can decide what I want to do with my late swaps later on. So I always give it a little bit of a boost. But yeah, I think King is he's pretty clearly to me the number one pitcher on the slate. Especially I look at that lineup but it is weird. Every now and then you get that weird game out of the Angels. So King is number one, but I certainly don't think that it's like by a landslide. I actually think, yeah, I'll get to my top ones in a minute. But
by the way, I lost the tennis.
No.
Moonard didn't lose a single game since we got on the stream.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay. What was I going to say? The other thing I was going to say before we got to the San Francisco Arizona game, something I forgot to mention to you. So last week when I went to the Yankee game, they did play the Padres in that, and remember we scored like 10 runs in like the 8th inning in that game. Yeah. You want to know something that I didn't know about the Padres, and maybe this was just an aberration? Like they had like 1,000 people at the game, like in New York.
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, well, look at when the Dodgers played there. The Dodgers had like 15,000 there. Like, no joke. They had like 30%.
Padres. I mean, like the Padres, there was this huge contingency of Padres fans at
that's a lot.
Yankee Stadium. See, to me, I thought that was very, very strange.
Well, they become like the young trendy team, you know? It's sort of like this is not a great example, but it's sort of like how everybody like Warriors jersey started showing up all over the place. There was never a Warriors jersey on the road until Steph showed up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they sort of have the Tatis. They're like the sexy young team that's almost there. They talk a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that they sort of appeal to a lot of people who, I don't know, that group of people, whatever they are.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that's
surprising. All right. So last game, we're gonna keep doing it.
I'm gonna take a shot. I'm not overwhelmed by love for many of these stacks. There's some that I like today. I'll throw in a little bit. And what's interesting is that it's not getting much ownership, but it's not like getting no ownership. The San Francisco. Some people are seeing what I sometimes see, and that is with Kelly. He pitches a lot of hard contact, and he tends to get away with it for the most part, which is shocking pitching in Arizona. But I think there's upside here, so I will take a stat. To be honest with you, if this game was in Arizona, I think I'd just be talking about game stacking. As of right now, I think that it's more of like I'm kind of interested in both sides a little bit. AZSF. Yeah. And by the way, and again, I can swap before those the later ones if I want to. There's that late window with the Yankees and
so you're gonna watch. You're gonna see this. You're gonna see this guy sweep past me in about 2 seconds here. Ready? So here we go.
No.
So this is the way scoring works. So he's gonna get a game that's 2.5. That's gonna be 422.05. Then you get 18 points bonus because you get a set, a match, and a straight set bonus. So that will bring him to 440. So there it is.
Well, still in second. I mean,
yeah, but now this guy's this guy did not catch me, so that's good. Yeah, so so still second, but they're still guys.
Oh man, it's a big price drop from first to second.
Well, is this your first time playing DFS?
No, not every DraftKings tournament is like that. DraftKings does half sometimes.
Right.
You were saying that because usually if they make it when they go up to like 10, they make the second place a little higher. Usually it's because they're doing more lineups, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So overall, so I'm actually not getting to Arizona projection wise. I'm not getting Arizona, San Francisco, or Verlander, or Kelly. But we're in for a pound. We're in for a penny, in for a pound. We probably have to do this.
D-Mac says, okay, he said he's been struggling, but on some of us guys, just follow whatever Sheets does, and Sheets tells you exactly what he's doing every day, and he keeps winning. So I'll say just follow Sheets on that one. Clay Davis says that for single entry, I'll tell you what Sheets is. He does. Sheets has done this process a bunch of times for those things. It's really the same process. He does them all at once. It's not like he does a different thing for single entry. He's just posting the projections.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at the survivor pool.
Okay.
All right. So hey, this is the longest we've survived. So there you go. So we're in week 7, and so here are the rules again. We have to pick, and let's take a look at the standings here. We did lose one. We did lose somebody. Okay, did lose somebody.
What do you mean? No, we lost one guy.
We lost the guy who went out with Pittsburgh, so he's out. So there are 5 people completely out. A couple of people got strikes, but not many. So we just have to keep on doing this. So we have to pick a team that is going to get win at least 50% of their games, and it's got to be someone we haven't picked before. And the key usually is to pick teams that have an even number of games, because it's just easier to go 3-3 than it is to go 4-3. That's the easiest.
Although we deviated last week.
That's why I said usually that's the idea. Last week we did not. We went with Kansas City. So let's take a look. And again, what you're looking for are teams that are good enough to get by this week, but not too good. Because you want them to be available later. So let's just see. Dodgers. I mean, they're going to go 6-0, but probably want to save them. But I'm going to write them down just for funsies. Okay?
Yeah.
Padres are probably going to go 6-0. Well, okay, 5-1.
A little tougher.
Might want to use them, but we'll keep them on the list. Okay. Tigers, I think, did we use? No, we did not use.
I thought we did use them.
No, somebody else used them. Remember?
I thought we used them for.
No. See, this is the route. Remember? Everybody else didn't. See that now. This is the deal. So this is how survivor pool theory works. So a whole bunch of people took the Tigers and won. So what that means is they're going to be less popular literally every time they're available. Okay.
Right.
Because people. So we got to be on the lookout for opportunities to use the Tigers when nothing else is around.
Well, the great news is they're going to play the White Sox like 16 more times. So
that's right. So we don't have to use them now. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Mets get 3 at Yankees. No thanks. Phillies. Okay. I mean.
And they've won a bunch in a row too. They're hot.
I think the Phillies are okay. They have to deal with Skeens. Maybe not actually.
Let me see.
Skeens.
No. Because he's pitching. Yeah. So they'll get one against him probably.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Or they have to go Saturday. All right, whatever. But they're definitely in play.
They're definitely in play. No question.
Giants. Oh my God, everybody's in play this week.
I don't know if they're the Giants. That's
we use the Giants anyway.
Oh yeah, good.
Cleveland. Home against the Brewers at Reds. At Reds annoys me a little bit.
Yeah, me too. And even at home against the Brewers, I don't think is a cakewalk.
Yeah, Yankees we can deal. We'll get them later. And not to mention the fact that home against the Mets is not easy.
Right.
Okay, Royals. No thanks. Oh, we used them. Easy. Seattle against the Yankees. No thanks. All right, so Cubs are going 6-0.
The Cubs seem like the obvious place to pick this week.
Well, let's put them down.
Okay.
St. Louis 6 road games. They're probably not going to win too many of them anyway. Red Sox, no. Astros 7 games, including 4 on the road. No thanks. Arizona. Okay, so just for fun, let's just say that Arizona does. We always have to respect a team that has home games against the Rockies and the White Sox.
Yeah.
Going into San Francisco is certainly no bargain. Starting off with Merrill Kelly on the mound.
The only thing, so here's the issue. So for me, like, I actually think this wouldn't be a bad spot to pick, except for one. I think Arizona is actually like legitimately good. They'll play the Rockies 18 times a year, so you'll get more games. but and playing at the Giants is not a a cakewalk. And they're not playing their best baseball right now, but I don't know how much to weigh that in. So I think they're on the list, but I think it's going to be hard to pass up the Cubs.
I mean, they're definitely in play.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, where did I go? Okay, what did we do? Cardinals, we did. Red Sox, Tigers, no, and then Braves, Houston Royals, and then 7 games against the Rangers. We did Arizona. Okay, Twins, 6 road games. Probably gonna lose some of them anyway.
Twins are red hot.
A's, no thanks. Blue Jays. I mean, they'll be low owned, but
yeah, it's
got to be a better spot for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, they have the 6 home, but it's not. I feel like there are more like they would have been a team we would have considered like maybe a couple weeks ago. But like it seems like there's some easier spots.
The problem here also is that you're not going to get anywhere this week because all 4 of the teams that I mentioned already, like Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, Cubs, they're all advancing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
So we just have to figure out which one we want to use. Let's see, Rangers 7 games, Reds. Okay, all right. So 3 home against White Sox,
and 3 home against the Guardians. Yikes. Makes a lot of sense.
Put them in. We're gonna put them down. Then 7 games: Tampa 6 on the road, Washington never, Angels never, Orioles we used already. They would be a pretty funny low-owned team actually to use this week, but
yeah,
we used them already.
The Twins have won 8 in a row, but yeah.
Miami no, Pirates no. Okay, all right. So I think that no matter who we pick, except for the Reds, like we're gonna win. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna advance. So. Like if we pick the Dodgers, they're going to advance. We pick the Padres, they're going to advance. Pick the Phillies. I mean, we really should have a grid of who these guys play in the future, but maybe as we get deeper.
But I mean, we kind of know, like in division and whatever, like so you kind of have an idea for the Cubs will only play the White Sox twice this year, and they don't have the Rockies in their division, so you're not going to get just thinking about it from an overall standpoint, like. If they're playing the Rockies or White Sox, you're only getting 15 of those games out of your 162 for the year. So I think you kind of want to try to use them when they're in those matchups. But I mean, do you make an argument that because I mean, I don't think it matters in baseball and maybe in basketball during the regular season, but like because they're rivals in Chicago, is it even out a little bit? Like I don't think so, but it's baseball, so it shouldn't. But
so the good news here is that in week 5. 20 people took the Phillies.
Okay.
So that makes them less available than the other teams that we talked about so far.
Yeah.
Let me see what else. Week 4, 11 took Cincy. Week 3, nothing. Week 2, nothing. I mean, to me, what I just said kind of gives the answer. I mean, I think we're just supposed to play Philly, just because they're going to be less available. But I think either Philly or the Cubs work for me.
Okay.
Well, which one do you think?
Can you mind go back to the Philly matchup? I can't remember who it was.
Oh, we'll go back to it. So Phillies are home against the Cardinals, home against the Pirates, but we have to deal with Skeens.
I think the Cubs are the better answer, and I don't mind having the Phillies in the tank because they don't get to play this,
and they'll be lower, and again they'll be just as unavailable later also. So yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So Cubs it is, and so we have there's a big week this week. We have the players not the players, the PGA Championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's action.
Need to get golf back on the right track. Kenny had some nice swipes at it this last week for the $3 and the $5 the mini max one and all that.
Well, you saw I was like 2nd and 4th in the lottery, but they got Strakaized. Neither of them had Straka. And yes, that's pretty much it. I will. We will see you at. I don't think I'll be available tonight. If I am, I'm going to hop in. But that's about it.
Okay, I'll be around at 5:30 Eastern to go over the rest of the baseball and basketball. We have 2 game slates, and who knows how many we have left.
No
So
kidding.
we'll talk about it. We didn't get to talk about some strange games. I did get to watch the end after the anyway. I got to watch the end with my family of the Denver and OKC game. I don't know if I've ever seen teams miss so many shots. It was like 20 consecutive missed shots between both teams. It was
really?
and they missed like 75% of the free throws in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
It was like bizarre. And that was a little tilting because I loved my Denver I thought Denver was going to do it. Now it's going to be tough. All right, guys, but I'll see you at 5:30, and good luck, everybody. And we'll talk. We'll get ready for PGA. I'll probably do one tomorrow as a first.